everyone. I'm Kristen Oakes White, and thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only television show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. Well, today we're bringing you a special Thanksgiving theme show from one of our favorite grocery stores in Baton Rouge, Calandro's Supermarket. Well, as you know, the holidays are upon us, and while we're breathing a little easier this year, supply chain issues and higher prices are hitting us in the wallet. Through it all, farmers and ranchers have done their part to bring you your holiday meal in the safest and most affordable way possible. Neil Lawson joins us this week with the annual Farm Bureau Market Basket Survey. And Neil, it looks like we'll be paying a little bit more for our holiday feast this year.
Thanks, Kristen. As you might expect, prices are higher this year over last due to inflation of not only the items, but also of things like fuel costs and packaging. The 36th annual American Farm Bureau Market Basket Survey found the overall cost of a 14-item Thanksgiving meal at $68.72, an increase of $8.61. The good news is that Louisiana items are far cheaper than the national average. That same 14-item meal in Louisiana cost $57.41, or $11.31 less than the national average. Breaking that down, the cost of turkey this year has gone up, averaging $23.99 nationally, while those surveyed in Louisiana averaged $18.84. Sweet potatoes averaged $3.56 for a 3-pound bag in the U.S. We grow a lot of them in Louisiana, which may be why they're so much cheaper at $2.45 for that same bag. Dinner rolls are averaging $3.05 for a dozen nationally, while they're only $1.57 on average in Louisiana. We also saved a bit on ham. Nationally, a 4-pound bone-in ham is running $10.87, while it's $7.53 here. Pumpkin pie mix is $3.64 for 30 ounces, while in Louisiana it averages $2.93. Finally, whipped cream for that pumpkin pie is $1.78 nationally. In Louisiana, it's 20 cents cheaper at $1.58 for a half pint. Now, I did do some shopping with Monica and Kristen's help, and we found some of the items like the Herb Season Classic Stuffing. This is a 12-ounce package for $2.30. The survey has 14-ounce packages. These are Calandro's own baked rolls, $3.59 for a dozen. Celery's pretty cheap here, $1.29 for this bunch here. We also found pumpkin pie mix. That's $4.25 for that same 30-ounce can you see in the survey. And of course, these yams that are in front of me, a classic for any Thanksgiving meal and a Louisiana favorite, 69 cents a pound. Of course, coming to Calandro's, you can get other stuff that's not on the survey, like these Point Capee pecans grown right here in Louisiana. Now, there were some places where Louisiana was more expensive on the average. In that survey, a gallon of milk is running $3.30 nationally, while in the state we see it at $4.21. Cranberries are $2.98 nationally, while they're averaging $3.36 for 12 ounces in Louisiana. Finally, a pound of frozen green beans are $1.58 for the U.S. average, while our state average is $1.81. One of the most important numbers out of that survey is the farmer's take-home pay. Of the $57.41 for the average Louisiana Thanksgiving meal, $4.59 goes back to the farmer. That money takes care of not only the farmer and his family, but all of the input costs, such as fuel for his combines and fertilizer for his crops, which are also spiking in price right now. As you can see, farmers work hard to bring you the safest and cheapest food supply in the world. Well, farmers and grocery stores may be at the opposite ends of the supply chain, but they share in making only a fraction of the cost of your food bill. For more on that and how supply chain issues are affecting stores, Manager Blaze Calandro is with us. And Blaze, this has got to be a busy time of year for you.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It seems like the Thanksgiving year is getting started earlier than normal. I think people are getting out and getting stuff a little sooner than they would otherwise. They might be a little worried about shortages or making sure to get ahead of what's normally super busy next week.
Well, as we talked about in that story just now, farmers make only a small margin off everyone's food dollar bill. Grocery stores are in the same boat, is that right?
It's true. And I think this year is certainly interesting with our wholesale costs increasing as much as they have and trying to make the margins that you normally would make, and also trying to keep prices sane for customers.
And in doing so, how do you get these prices managed, especially with the supply chain being so disrupted as it is?
It's a struggle because we have our own staffing issues that are going on. So we're only able to juggle a certain number of balls at one time. And one of the big ones right now is just trying to keep up with all of the retail price increases we need to make in order to keep somewhat on top of the margins for normal cost stuff that's increasing, because it's happening across the board.
Now, one of the important points I want to make here is that just because prices are going up doesn't mean you're seeing a higher profit in the store. Is that right?
No, and there's a lot of places where we know customers are more price sensitive, and we're trying not to kill people, and we're taking a hit on margin on certain things in order to still make it sane. Because like I say, you look across our order books, across our order apps, and where it flags things for price increases week over week, we're seeing, 10 times or more as many of those check marks as we have in recent past, the last couple of years.
That's incredible. That's just a huge amount, but it tracks with what we saw in that survey as well as what we're seeing, nationwide and in the state. I guess one important point that we want to hit is turkeys. What are their price-wise, and what is their availability this year?
So I recently looked at some numbers associated with that, and we kind of compared this year to 2019 and 2020. And for our standard frozen turkeys versus 2019, we're seeing upwards of 60+% price increases, and we don't really make any money on turkeys. That's one of our items that is sort of it's level cost. We make, the store makes money on other things, but turkey's not one of those. So what you're seeing is pure cost increases being passed on to the customer. It's nothing that, we're not selling them at a loss. We're selling them at the cost we can get them for. So that 60% is truly a reflection of what cost increases we're seeing.
And of course, turkey isn't the only meat we're seeing at this time. The beef is a big cost. A lot of people, the demand is still high and prices are going up along with it.
Yeah, so beef is even higher than turkey has been. And we've gotten, what's interesting to me is a couple of months ago, we had a bunch of price increases from our main deli sliced meat supplier. And that's Boar's Head. You see that in ham, turkey, roast beef. That pork isn't really getting hit too hard right now. It might be up a little, 5% or something like that. But the turkey's gone up a bunch, and roast beef and beef products generally in our meat market have gone up astronomically.
With those supply chain issues, the price has gone up. But another story that we're hearing a lot of is scarcity. You guys are not facing as much in terms of the empty shelves that people think about when they're seeing all these news stories.
Yeah, so we've seen the situation in the news, on social media, with empty shelves and people being like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. We've had shortages, don't get me wrong. I mean, we're a gourmet grocery store. People come here to look for certain things, and when Campbell's short on cream of mushroom or cream of celery, which is a Louisiana ingredient, I found out for a lot of different recipes, because they might have staffing issues of their own or whatever's going on with the supply chain that's not getting it here to us. We're having to deal with those things. But as an independent, we have, I think, more than bigger box stores do in terms of sources. We have more options. And so when our first provider of those things doesn't have it, we can step down to step B, plan C, and we haven't had as much here at the store. We haven't seen as much of the empty shelf effect as some of the other places that I've seen around town and online.
Which is why it's just so important to shop local, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I really want to thank you for your time, Blaze, and good luck this holiday season. I know it's really busy for you. Thank you. Well, that's Blaze Calandro, manager at Calandro's Supermarket here in Baton Rouge. To learn more about Calandro's, head on over to our website at twilatv.org. Kristen, back to you. I need to go finish my shopping.
While Hurricane Ida came ashore more than 2 months ago, its effect on the Louisiana citrus and vegetable industry will be measured in years. This week, TWILA's Craig Gautreaux takes us to Plaquemine Parish, where thousands of citrus trees were lost along with many fall vegetable crops across southeast Louisiana.
Hurricane Ida brought a 10-foot storm surge of water and piles of muck onto Ben Becknell's citrus orchard south of Belle Chase. Nearly 2 months after the storm, the damage is obvious. 2,000 dead citrus trees and all of his fall vegetable crops ruined. Now he's faced with the dilemma of having to deal with all the mud brought in by Ida.
What do I do with it? there's no playbook. It's never happened before. It's uncharted ground. You know, we don't know.
Previous storms have shown the new soil deposits are both detrimental and beneficial.
A lot of the muck from the marsh got blown into the fields. That is very saline material. However, it is also very rich material, so there might be some fertility benefits there. We really don't know yet.
Timmerman said it could take up to 3 years before the salt leaches out of the soil and it is safe to plant. A USDA program will help recover some of the cost to replant the trees, but growers like Becknell have not seen any funds to cover the losses from last year's storm.
A lot of that funding from Zeta still has not been released to the growers, and now we're facing a second year with Ida. So it's just going to kind of set the replanting issue back a couple of years, and a tree is a very slow growing crop.
While Ida was a big loss for Becknell, he said if the surge would have been another 2 feet higher, it may have put him out of business.
It would be too much of a blow. We'd have lost all of our trees, all of our equipment. There would be no coming back from that.
Becknell is replanting some fall vegetables, but they will not be ready for harvest until the end of January. With the LSU Ag Center, this is Craig Gautreaux reporting.
For the second year in a row, consumers seeking fresh Louisiana citrus will have a limited selection because of the loss of fruit caused by Ida. If the Becknell name sounds familiar, that's because just up the road, Patrick Becknell has been supplying the Louisiana Farm Bureau holiday shop with fresh citrus and citrus trees for years. As you would imagine, there are no fresh citrus fruits to buy in this year's holiday shop, but you can still pick up an assortment of citrus trees to plant in your yard. You can grab a navel, satsuma, lemon, blood orange, lime, mandarin, and persimmon trees. I haven't planted them all, but I can speak for my satsuma tree, and it's producing extremely well after just 2 years. Of course, you can also buy a host of pecan products and peanut products from our friends in Florida at the Louisiana Farm Bureau holiday shop. But act fast. The deadline to order is Monday, November 29th. To find the order form, head over to our website at twilatv.org. Well, still to come on TWILA, we have a brand new Field to Feast with a spirited take on Louisiana beef. Stay with us.
Welcome to Field to Feast, where we profile Louisiana and its local ingredients. This morning, we're making a sweet stop at Alma Plantation in Lakeland. We're going to pick up some delicious sugar, head over to Three Roll Estate, and make holiday cocktails.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board. Think rice.
So I'm so excited. What in the world is behind us?
We are in Sugar House 4 right now, and what you're looking at is a giant mountain of sugar. So this all came from our mill at Alma Farm and Mill, and yeah, what you're looking at is raw sugar.
So talk to me a little bit about where we are and what goes on here.
Great, yeah, we're in Lakeland, Louisiana, just west of Baton Rouge, and we are at a sugarcane farm where we crush and grind sugarcane to make molasses, which makes sugar, as you see.
That's so great. We saw a whole bunch of activity this morning. What's going on now?
We're during grind season right now. So they are farming all of the sugarcane that's been growing all year. It's time to extract all those pieces of sugar that have been growing in the sugarcane. So we'll grind it down, make cane juice out of it, which we boil and boil and boil until all the water's gone. And then eventually it will turn into molasses, which we then spin really fast, and it separates the sugar from the liquid part, and yeah, that's how we get sugar.
There's an exciting next step to this particular sugar because we're heading to Baton Rouge after this to make some holiday cocktails.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With?
Yeah, so with Three Roll Estate rum. So we are connected to the farm and mill in a very intimate fashion. We are owned by the same people. So after the sugar is made or the cane juice is made, we use that product to make all of our rum or all of our spirits. So we do make vodka as well.
You were talking to me a little bit about how unique it is that you're so close and why that's important.
Yeah, so we are one of the only single estate distilleries in the nation. And what that means is we control all of the process. So we control the growing of the sugarcane, the making of the sugar and the molasses, and then use those products in our final rum products. So there are not many of them in the United States. One that we are very proud of is our rum agricole, which is actually made from cane juice. And why that's interesting is because you have to be very close to the sugar mill in order to make it. Otherwise, the cane juice goes bad.
So talk to me exactly about that process, because that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's great. So as soon as the sugarcane is grinded, juice is the first product from the grinding of the sugarcane. We are only 13 miles away from the distillery, so we transport it via a tanker, and we get it right into a fermenter and pitch our yeast. And the reason for that is the cane juice will oxidize, and it will also start to ferment and turn bad. So you have about an 8-hour window to do it, but the fresher the better. So as soon as we get it in the distillery, we ferment it, and then we distill it a couple days later.
Can you talk to me about all of the products that come from here, or give us a few more other than just the rum?
Yeah, so including the rum, we also have a cane syrup that we make, and that's essentially just the molasses and the cane juice boiled down to make a wonderful syrup. You can use it on your pancakes. That's right, yep, which I love. I'm more of a waffle guy, but...
Okay, oh, that's a big debate right there, too. Are you a waffle guy, or are you a pancake guy?
So it's super good, especially if you're interested in the agriculture of Louisiana. It tastes a lot like sugarcane.
Awesome, and then you can get the raw bags of sugar here as well at the store?
That's right, so you can, and they come in 5-pound bags, and they're awesome to use in your baking.
I'm gonna go grab a couple bags of Alma sugar and head back to the distillery so that we can meet up for some of those festive holiday cocktails.
Great, I'll see you there.
We're back from Alma Plantation here at 3 Roll Estate. We brought some sugar. We're gonna use some of this delicious rum and make some little bites for the holiday. My good friend Chef Bonanno is here to do just that. What are we gonna be doing today?
Well, I'm so glad you made it out to Alma. Fabulous. I mean, it's just
the best.
Wonderful experience. And thank you for bringing the sugar back here to our distillery. We're gonna do some flank steak for the holidays as a little bitty appetizer. And we're gonna do a quick marinade using our dark rum. So it's as easy as this. We've got a half a cup of dark rum. That's
the most important ingredient.
The most important ingredient. We're gonna put a half a cup of dark rum. You can certainly use our spice, which would give it a little bit more of the citrus.
And we learned how special this rum is.
Truly is.
Yes.
So, of course, we sip on it, but we also drink it. I use it for the praline rum cakes, so it's definitely versatile. So to this, we're gonna add a little bit of our lime juice. So we've got 2 tablespoons.
Yummy.
And if you're not able to find the Alma sugar, brown sugar will certainly suffice. Crushed red pepper is gonna go in, garlic, cloves, some green onions, pinch of salt, and we've got 1/4 cup of soy sauce that's gonna go in, and just a little bit of oil. And to this, we're just gonna give it just a little bit of a stir.
What a perfect holiday marinade, and why in the world I have never done it this way, putting the Ziploc bag over.
Unfortunately, I only have 2 hands, so this works well for me.
This is great.
So you just want to put it in, and it needs to go into the refrigerator for at least 2 hours.
Okay.
Just because we're quick.
That's right.
TV-esque. We've got some ready to go. Our pan is hot, and you can certainly do this on your grill.
Ooh, Louisiana beef.
So we're gonna make a little spread to go on the little potato kind of cakes that we've made. We have mayonnaise, a little bit of garlic is gonna go in, chopped parsley, and believe it or not, this spice right here, it's a jerk seasoning.
Okay.
So you know the rum made in the Caribbean, a complete jerk spice. McCormick definitely hit it on this little spice.
Okay, great.
But all we're gonna do is just add this jerk seasoning to the mayonnaise and blend it. So we've got our mayonnaise base right here, and what I've done is I've taken these small little Yukon Gold potatoes.
They look so delicious, like little crispy.
Little croquettes.
Yes.
But what I put them in the microwave. Once I wash them real well.
Okay.
While they're whole, put them in the microwave for 3.5 minutes.
Okay.
You pull them out, and with just a spoon or a fork, you just press them down. A little skillet, olive oil, salt, and pepper, sear them on both sides.
I'm doing
and
that
they're
tonight.
done. We're gonna cook this too right at medium rare. We're gonna turn off our heat. And as we know, the most important part is the resting.
Yes.
So I know you want to dive into it.
I
but
do.
We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take it off. And then what we're gonna do is just let it rest a moment, and then we'll start slicing it.
Look at that. Oh my word.
The grain is running this way, so we're gonna slice against the grain.
Okay.
Again, that's gonna make sure that the meat is nice and tender.
The other way to make sure is just to,
Yes, and you can do that as well.
Perfect.
There you go.
I'm gonna window dress it.
There you go, a little window dressing.
So name our dish.
So we have our baby Yukon Gold pancake with the dark rum flank steak and a jerk spiced aioli.
The only thing that we're missing?
Cocktails.
Let's go. And what do we have here?
So this is a coquito. It's a Puerto Rican eggnog, and our version is made with the barreled aged spice rum, condensed milk, Coco Lopez, a little bit of orange and fresh shaved nutmeg.
Oh my goodness, it looks delicious. Cheers, friend.
Cheers.
Let the holidays begin.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Well, there's no doubt that most of your Thanksgiving menus will probably include a heaping helping of cranberry sauce, now whether it's from a can or a homemade recipe. But have you ever stopped to think about how that delicious berry ended up on your plate? In this week's TWILA Boost, we're giving you a peek into the fascinating process of cranberry farming.
For me, harvest season is probably my favorite time of the year, despite all the long days and hours. We all work together as a family to get it done. We usually hire on a lot more people. It's our busiest time of year, but for harvest for me, I'm out on the marsh. I run the picking machine and experiencing it all right in front of me.
Harvest for fresh fruit is a little more intense than for the process. Guys that are doing it, you have to have a lot of faith in them because they can make or break the quality just the way they're harvesting. They can't go too fast. They have to go in and pick them. They're being gentle and trying not to rip them off of the plants. You want them to, you got to get their speed down just right. And they're under the gun to cover so much acreage in a given day because we know we have to get done before it gets cold. And so we know we've got about an 8-week window to get as much done as we can.
Our harvest style is fresh fruit picking with pickers and boats. We're not processing for a conventional style of growing cranberries. It's a modernized method of hand picking for fresh fruit sales. It's a lot slower and tedious process. It's a lot more delicate. As we harvest, we're slowly raking the cranberries up and putting them in a boat. The harvest process is quite a bit differently in that aspect.
It's 7-8 weeks of nose to the storm. You're dealing with weather, and again, you're dealing with help and breakdowns. And the first couple days are good, and then after that, it just gets to be a routine that they go and they start at sunrise and they go till sundown.
Now that was just a snippet of a year-long documentary from Luke Parmeter showing the entire growing process of cranberries from start to finish. To watch the entire video, and I highly recommend that you do because it's pretty awesome, head over to our website at twilatv.org. Well, that does it for this week's show. We're going to take the week of Thanksgiving off here at TWILA. So if you see this show again next week, that's why. We hope you take the time and enjoy and appreciate your family and friends as well. We're thankful for you, our viewers. Thanks for joining us. And again, on behalf of the entire TWILA staff, happy Thanksgiving.